Hi there. It's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay. Let's get on with the show.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everybody, welcome one and all. Today is December 6th, 2022. This is episode 116, Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I am CQ. I'm your Pop Culture Warrior. And I usually say with me as always is our blah, 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 blah. But he's not. He's not here tonight. He's not here tonight. Instead, we've got a pitch hitter coming in. He's sliding in the docks. I spread the word. I said, hey, who out there in the nation wants to join me tonight? And we got a call. We got a guy. I'm going to introduce you one of our social media extraordinaire, the guy that's running WTF Nation Radio up and down and making us, as we're going to take us to the next century. Everybody, welcome Nemo. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing? How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you for joining us tonight on Pop Culture Warrior. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah. Excited.
Always, man. Yeah.
Let's talk about all the things. All the things.
Loads of things happen.
We have so much. There's so many things happening. First and foremost, we have a special guest tonight, later tonight. Stay tuned. We have the amazing Ashley Williams joining us. She is an actor, director, writer, theatrical performer. I mean, she's done it all. She's incredible. She's been in so many things. She's directed so many things. One of my favorite things, obviously, she was Victoria in How I Met Your Mother. She was the woman that Ted should have ended up with in How I Met Your Mother. I will die on that hill. Way better for him. And I mean, she was she played the wife of Jim Gaffigan in the Jim Gaffigan Show. I mean, a number of great things. And she's going to be here to hang out with us tonight and chit chat. Wonderful woman. I was very fortunate to meet her in person a couple months ago, and she's going to come on. So I'm very excited.
It's awesome.
Outside of that, big shout out. Hey everybody, how you guys doing? We got a ton of people watching, man. I see Angry Elf. Angry Elf in YouTube watching. Thanks. Heath as always on Facebook. Appreciate you, brother. I see Pete. What's up, Pete? How you doing? A lot of people, man. They should give us a hey. Let us know you're watching. I see all you guys watching and you're shy and you're quiet, man. Just say hi. Let us know you're watching. So say what's up. Let us know where you're tuning in from. What are you doing on this fine Tuesday night? And while we do that,
what's the weather like? What's the weather like where you're
at? What's the weather like? Whisper it to me. Tell me softly. Whisper in my ear. Oh man, there's so many stories to cover. Let's just dive right into it. we've talked a lot over the last couple weeks about movie. I mean, we did the whole trailer thing last week, which was a
yeah.
load of fun.
A lot of trailer bombs. Yeah.
Oh man, so many trailers. Oh, hey April, what's up from South Carolina? And it's raining. God bless, man. Thanks. Stay dry out there.
It's rainy out by my way too.
Richard, what's up, man? Don't get to follow
It
often, but
happens.
always a pillar. He says chilly in Indiana. All right. Armpit of Newport. Josh from Armpit of New York reporting in. God bless you guys, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. We're gonna get right to it because there's so many things to cover. I'm gonna get right to it. We're gonna talk some TV news. You up for some TV news?
Sure, anytime.
Let's swipe over. My swipe effect. Oh God, I love that fucking swipe effect. Big shout out to Marty spinning in the. Hey Marty, how you doing? Just spinning little bobblehead. For those that don't know why we call him Marty, I'm not even gonna get into that story because it's horrible. Let's see. First up. Oh, see, I know you watched did you watch the Halo series?
Of course.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Of course.
So you probably know that they've already started production in Iceland on season 2. I got a picture for you. Here's the team over there rocking it in Iceland. The squad. As expected, Pablo Schreiber, Master Chief himself, returns in the second season, as well as the rest of Silver Team. Let's see. On top of production starting, Paramount Plus revealed that Joseph Morgan from The Vampire Diaries and Christina Rodlow, no one gets out of here alive, have joined the cast in season 2 as James Ackerson and Talia Perez, respectively. So, Ackerson is described as a formidable intelligence operative who has spent his career climbing the ranks of the UNSC's secretive Office of Naval Intelligence, while Perez is described as a corporal specializing in linguistics for a UNSC Marine Corps Communications unit, and a relatively new recruit has yet to see any real combat. So there's a lot to go. Obviously, the first season is available on Paramount Plus. What did you think of the series? What did you think of it?
I actually had a lot of very passionate conversations about season 1 of Halo.
Okay.
I personally enjoyed it as an action piece.
Right.
Like it wasn't the Halo story. And that's fine. It doesn't have to be. Like there are people who argue if you played it beat for beat like the games, it would have come out better, or they would have enjoyed it more. And that's fair to them if that's how they feel. But I mean, I feel like as an not an original, but a different take on the Halo story, I thought it was excellent.
An original take on an established IP.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't need to see the same story I've already played through 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Master Chief do some cool shit, and Master Chief did some cool shit.
Yeah.
He stacked a lot of bodies.
Stacked them bodies. Stuck a couple sticky grenades.
His body count.
Yeah. How many people did he teabag is the question. How many people did he teabag in the series?
I honestly felt like that was a missed opportunity if he didn't do it at least once. Or make it look like he dropped something, like he dropped his
accidentally.
Grenade. He had to dip down and pick it up.
He's like, ooh, a quarter. And just dips down and picks it up.
Let me bloop. Let me
yeah. I mean, you got to.
But I mean, that's an outdated thing. Nobody really does that anymore.
I mean, you don't play with the guys that I play with because they absolutely still teabag.
Yeah, those
every game.
Those COD lobbies. Yeah.
Fucking playing Wii tennis and they're teabagging people. Doesn't matter. Oh man. Josh says I'm waiting for the bunny hop shots. I always saw that in multiplayer. Yeah, the bunny shot hops. That's right.
Yeah.
Greg says I did not enjoy the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Then I got into it after that. Okay.
I felt like that about a lot of shows. I feel like the first 2 episodes, 3 episodes, a lot of exposition, a lot of getting you into the universe of what you're currently in. But with the first episode, they had to hook you. They had the action sequence in Act 3, just to like, hey, this is Halo, guys. I personally felt like if every episode ended with an action sequence like that, it would have been a stronger show. Period. Because there's a lot of story to be told in each episode, but you have to have that thing that makes it Halo.
Mm.
And I think that's where they lost some people.
Yeah. They will, as long as the monks are chanting,
The boys are in the bathroom.
there you go. It's Halo. Angry Elf says, when is season 2 dropping? We don't know yet. It's
a good
not
question.
announced yet. I mean, they're still, you figure I think that at this point they're midway through production.
I
A
don't
show
think
like
we'll see it in
that.
23, personally.
You don't even think 23? I think
No.
fall of 23. I think they can make it fall of 23.
The reason why I say that is they haven't even wrapped production yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
then
then
there's
special effects heavy.
special effects. And that's where
Yeah.
I think we might not even see it in 23. Look at how long it took us to get the first season. You know what I mean? And they have the typical pattern of escalation from one season to the next. You know, they got to go bigger, they got to go harder. And so I think we might not even see it in 23. We might see it in 24.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, hold on to your hats, people. I think the amount of money they put into this, this is
Yeah.
they want this to be a flagship franchise for Paramount Plus.
It could
I
be.
think we see I see fall of 23. I think that's when
Okay.
that's where we're going. But we'll see.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we'll put our money on it. But all right, let's see what else we got. Oh, so this isn't really a pop culture thing, but we got to talk about it. We have to talk about it. Reality series, reality TV series are all the rage, right? They have been since, I don't know.
It's pop culture.
Yeah,
Still counts.
It's part of it. But let me introduce you to these guys. Have you seen the promotions for this yet?
Yes.
The Celebrity
Yes.
Special Forces training reality show dubbed Special Forces: The Ultimate Test. So the premise is 16 celebrities, or at least 16 people who fall into the category of, well,
Pseudo celebrities.
they have a Wikipedia page, Like, here's the thing. All shows do that.
Yeah.
Masked Singer, first season, was like,
Mhm.
are those people still alive? Like, everybody that was, I didn't know they were still alive.
They did have some big names, though.
Yeah, but not
They did
not
have some
season
big-
one. Not season one. Like,
What are you talking about? Like Ninja was
No.
in season 1.
I mean, if you call him a celebrity, I guess.
I mean,
in a small
For the amount of people who tune into this dude every day,
yeah,
celebrity
well.
status.
Hey, anyway, as Fox describes it, they're going to undergo training overseen by an elite team of ex-Special Forces operatives.
Is Tim on the team? Is Tim Kennedy there?
I mean,
I mean,
we'll see.
if it's not people that's not to say we're the experts on the
Mhm.
people who are. Obviously, they could get some real but
Sure.
my thoughts are they're probably not getting real special forces people.
I
Because
mean,
how many of like
ex-Special Forces operatives.
but my thing is if they did get real special forces or ex special ops
Mhm.
community members, this would be a very different show than what they're going to show on TV.
Well, let's see. It says the show is based on a similar British program called SAS. SAS Who Dares, which began airing in 2015. According to Fox, the elite team of special operations trainers is comprised of Rudy Reyes, Mark Billy Billingham, Jason Foxy Fox, and Remy Adeleke. Reyes, you would probably know as one of the recon Marines profiled in Evan Wright's book, subsequently adapted into an
Okay.
HBO series, Generation Kill.
Mhm.
Billingham is a former British paratrooper and member of the Special Air Service, an elite special operations unit. Fox
not
is
American.
Fox is a former Royal Marine commando
Mhm.
who served with the Special Boat Service, and
Mhm.
Adeleke is a former Navy SEAL who also
Mm.
appeared in Transformers: The Last Night. So,
I
I mean,
I don't know if that's the credit they should have gave him at the end of that. Like the dude who bodied Bin Laden would have been a bigger tag title. Like obviously they're trying to appeal to civilians and to the non-military folks, but for the
Yeah.
rest of us, we're like, British. All
Yeah.
right, one Navy SEAL, but he was on Transformers.
I mean, he's a Navy. We got the
It's
one Navy
almost like it
SEAL.
takes away from his service a little bit.
Yeah. So you have a recon Marine, you have the Navy SEAL, you have the Royal Marine, and then
Yeah.
the British paratrooper. So
That's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah. Now
I
this
feel
is
like
coming
it's heavily
from
British.
Yeah, I think it's like a split down the middle, but
Yeah.
so the Fox Entertainment president Rob Wade said in an interview that like these guys are completely removed from society and producers. I mean, from the show. So the staff sergeants control everything within the camp. They live in the middle of the desert, 100 degrees, in a place where the toilets are literally a hole in the ground. Their beds are just a sheet over a metal bar. It's completely back to basics. So who are some of the people that
Yeah.
are going to be attempting this fate? You have former New England Patriots football player Danny Amendola. So, pro football player. I mean, tough guy. Guy
You
gets
might be
hit.
able to hack it.
To see.
It's the mental stuff that'll get him.
Yeah. Let's see. Dr. Drew, star of countless seasons of celebrity rehab shows.
Seriously, Dr. Drew?
Dr. Drew.
Wow.
Other cast members include Kate Goslin. Yes, Kate plus 8, or was it what was their show?
Octomom?
Octomom, something like that. And then
Is that
Josh
her?
and Kate plus 8,
Yeah.
something like that. You have Nickelodeon star and Britney Spears' sister, Jamie Lynn Spears. You got
Jesus.
Anthony Scaramucci, Wall Street finance
Scaramouche?
guy. Yeah, finance guy who paid $100,000 for a bit part in Oliver Stone's Wall Street. Money Never Sleeps.
Scaramouche.
Let's see what else. Montel Jordan. Montel Jordan is in there. Montel.
Oh no.
What else?
Wow, this is a throwback.
Yeah, there's also Hall of Fame baseball catcher Mike Piazza, Real Housewives of Atlanta cast member Kenya Moore. So yeah, you got
Interesting lineup.
I,
I feel like they got the cast of next season of Dancing with the Stars to be on
yeah,
the show.
this is how they
We
get in
all know
shape for
that's the
dancing.
level of celebrity we get for these shows.
Is Ricky Lake? Ricky Lake is in there too. I think like there's a whole bunch of them. I didn't even go through the
I
whole.
feel like they just dug around in the 90s for people. Like,
So
hey,
this
guys,
will
come
premiere.
on.
This will premiere next month, January 2023 on Fox. I don't know,
I'm
man.
gonna tune in.
I kinda wanna watch
It's gonna
it.
be a train wreck.
That's this is like, the people that like I watch NASCAR for the race or for the crashes, or I watch hockey for the fights.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch this to just see these people just completely have a meltdown and just like they're yelling at me. You can't yell at me.
I feel like you can get entertainment out of this the same way as if you threw shit at a fan and stood in front of it. You're gonna get the same value of entertainment. It's going to be garbage, but it's gonna entrance you, you know?
Yeah. Greg has a great point. He says,
Mm.
"This is if now that's what I call music was a TV show." I'm like, yes,
Yes.
that's great.
Yes.
That's
I love
great.
it.
Kudos, gold star,
But
Greg. Gold star.
from the 90s. From the
Yes,
90s.
from the 90s. That's what I call music in the 90s
Jeez.
now. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna watch it at least an episode or two. I kind of want to see like you ever watch what's it like Bear Grylls? He takes up celebrities, running
Mhm.
wild and
Yeah.
and like that's a very controlled environment, and depending on their fitness level, like is what they do and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna call this a special forces experience,
You got to
I
do the real
mean,
deal.
you gotta. I
I
want
mean,
to see these dudes being drowned, like held underwater, drowned. You just what's that? I can't hear you. Blah, 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 blah. I can't understand you.
what's your first general order?
Sing the infantryman's creed. What? I don't know. I don't even know it. That
Sound
right.
off.
So yeah. So I mean, it's special. I don't know about special.
I feel like it could go one of it. I feel like it could go a great way if
Mm.
they made it real. Like, because
Like if
with these
yeah.
reality shows, they have a lot of manufactured drama and
Yeah.
stress and
Yeah.
bullshit reasons for people to cry and all this other stuff. We all know it. If
Yeah.
you've ever met a reality star, they'll tell you all
Yeah.
about it.
It's all scripted, The
Yeah.
reactions are real, but
Yeah.
like it's all planned out and scripted.
It's all planned out.
Bear Grylls got not into trouble, but he had to explain at one point, I remember, because he had shot one episode and they were like walking over these giant caverns, and so he's like, you gotta
Mhm.
watch out, every step could be your last. And then like some people on TikTok like went to the spot and it's this small hole and like there's literally cars driving. Like if you just pan
Yeah,
left, there's
yeah.
cars
There's
driving
cars
back
driving
and
by.
forth,
Yeah.
and people are just like hopping over the hole left. And
Kids are playing hopscotch
yeah,
over it and shit.
and he said he's like, look, the idea is this is it's survival. It's what would you do in that situation if you were in this situation? But he's like, it's not like they can just drop me in the middle of the desert by myself and like, there's crews
But
and
they could.
they could. He doesn't want to die, but
But I mean, then you can't really claim you're this survivalist then, right? I mean, because there are survivalists out there who are doing that, who could take a GoPro, strap it on their shoulder, and do exactly what you're doing. The only difference is they don't have the budget you got.
yeah. Well,
So
and that's
I mean,
well,
just
they could
accept
never
it for
be
what it is.
insured to do a TV show is
Right,
what it is. That would cost billions of dollars.
That's the reality of reality TV.
Yeah. So sorry if
That's good
we're
stuff.
if we're warning if we're taking people the surprise behind reality. That's just the way it is. What else next? Okay, back
What's
to
up?
kind of pop culture. I got something for you. Comic books, characters. Are you familiar with Silk? It's a relatively
Yes.
newer character.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Silk is another Spider-Man character.
Another.
Cindy Moon, who really has no relation at all to any of the Spider-Man characters other than she gets spider powers. Kind of like Miles Morales. Anyway, long story short, in the world where like Sony is doing everything in their power to commercialize and make money off of Spider-Man, they are doing a Silk Spider Society live action TV series, which is now headed to Prime Video. And I got a picture of Silk here. I'll show you.
I haven't heard about this one. This is news to me.
Yeah. So it is going to be a live action. It's Prime Video. It's TV series. Now I can tell you that Angela Kang, who served as showrunner on The Walking Dead, is going to be heading up this live action TV series. It also is going to have people that are very familiar with the whole Spider-Verse: Phil Lord, Chris Miller, Amy Pascal. These are all going to be executive producers on the show. So people that are very, very familiar with the Spider-Man mythos and
know
stories,
the material.
They know the stuff. Amy Pascal, I'm a little 50-50 on some stuff, some stuff. But Chris Miller and Phil Lord are actually really good. They're the ones that were behind Into the Spider-Verse. Excellent writers. And Mike says, how did they get that? Sony also owns her. Yeah, Sony owns anything
All of it. Yeah.
in the Spider universe. So anything associated with Spider-Man or considered associated with Spider-Man is owned by Sony. So Venom, Carnage, even like obviously Black Cat, Silver Sable, who you would never say, oh, that's part of the Spider-Man mythos, but really realistically she is. And this is why we're getting the Craven movie, the Venom movies, the Morbius movie. Like we're getting all these.
El Muerte or whatever his name is.
My God, that's just the
What is that about?
Oh my God, El Muerte was a bad guy wrestler who appeared in like 2 issues of Spider-Man in the 75 plus years of Spider-Man comic books. He's appeared in like 2 issues for like 5 panels.
You know what I find to be really funny about Sony is mad, you can tell, that they only got one hero out of the deal with the Spider-Man universe, which is why they're trying to make so many villains into anti-heroes. Because I guarantee you they're going to do that with Craven. They did it with Morbius, even though Morbius down the road became a hero.
Yeah.
They're doing it with Venom. We're getting the
Lethal Protector.
Lethal Protector. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I guarantee they're going to do an angle like that with Craven.
Yeah,
I think if you really wanted to knock my socks off with any of these other projects you're going to do a straight up villain piece. Do a straight up no redemption villain piece. It worked with the Joker.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad's another good one. Although if you watch, they give them redeeming qualities throughout. It's like, stop, dude. But, the comic fans will love it if Harley Quinn straight up ganks somebody. The audience is like, because Harley Quinn would do that. Not Harley Quinn does it, but then in another scene she's all like, and everybody's like, oh yeah, okay, because it's Margot Robbie. We're gonna like it.
So here's my thought: is that you can have a really good villain that has redeemable qualities.
Yeah,
hate
absolutely.
Thanos, but there
Thanos
were
was right.
moments where you're like, okay, I get it.
He's got a point.
He's a psychopath, but I get
Yeah,
it.
he's insane.
Killmonger, phenomenal
Killmonger.
villain.
Oh,
Gore the
great
God Butcher, they
story.
did a great job with him.
Gore,
So you
excellent.
can have these villainous, evil, bad people, and there's a great quote, and we've talked to actors before, and how they love playing the villain, and you can have
Yeah.
more fun with it, and the idea that the villain never sees themselves as the villain.
Mhm.
Very few people lean in. Joker is a
Yeah.
guy who he's like enjoys being the villain, and he's
Yeah.
gonna lean into it and push it as far as he can. But there's very few uh villains at that level. Penguin,
Yeah.
let's say, sees himself as he's a businessman, and
Yeah.
Black Cat
All
or
business.
Catwoman and Black Cat, they see themselves as like, yeah, I'm stealing, but I'm stealing from rich people. They've
They're
got
Robin
enough.
Hoods. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
Robin Hoods.
without the actual giving it back to the poor
Of
part.
course. Well, they're the poor ones.
Yeah, they're the poor. They're giving it to the poor. They're the poor. But so, very few villains are like real,
Yeah.
down to the bone. Like, I just want to kill you because I get some sick pleasure from it.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
can do
and
a
those
villain
aren't
story.
received well. That's the thing is you're supposed to see little bits of yourself in the heroes and in the villains.
Mhm.
Like Loki. Loki's very relatable, He's not the part in the Avengers where he's actually offing people, but
Yeah.
throughout the rest of his story,
Yeah.
you relate to him because he doesn't know where his place is. He lives in the shadow of his brother. Even though his brother loves him to death, he thinks that he'll never measure up.
Yeah.
Those are all relatable qualities, and could push people to do some terrible things, not kill. I'm not saying none of that, but
Yeah.
in a lot of comics and a lot of villains, you see bits and pieces of what we can relate to,
Mm.
you know.
Sure. Yeah. There's
So yeah.
Sandman had, the daughter he was trying to get back to. Mr.
Mhm.
Freeze was just trying
Trying to
to
resurrect his
resurrect
wife.
his wife and cure
Yeah.
her. And so you you have all those. You have
Yeah.
these people that are in their mind, they're just trying to do what anyone would do in their situation, when
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not. They're criminally
Yeah.
insane.
Well,
But
yeah.
but
But
you get
there's
it.
these little bits and pieces that you can kind of vibe with. And
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what I think Sony is missing out on with their things is these villains can, like you said, be redeemable while also being very awful, but not have the movie be about redemption.
True.
Not have the movie lining them up to be another vigilante hero in a city like Gotham almost, like
Mhm.
there Venom, yes, because it's been done. Morbius, yes, because it's been done. But to take a villain who, I guess, because El Muerte doesn't have any real story to draw from, they could do that. And me personally, I love to see a Latin superhero on the screen
Sure.
because there's so few of us. There's so few of us. But with what they did with Venom, I'm not confident it's going to be good, especially after Morbius. Like,
Yeah.
and there's so much material and content to draw from, and you got Matt Smith dancing. Like, I understand the motive behind the dancing because he couldn't physically move his body before, but nobody
Right.
got that.
Yeah.
Nobody felt that. That wasn't earned,
You're speaking to
So,
no one because very few people actually watched it. So it's
what are you talking about? It's
people are like, I don't
Morbin
know what he's
time.
talking about. Who's
It's Morbin
dancing?
time, okay?
Uh, um, Mike had a great question here in the chats. He said, any insight into who Michael Gandolfini will be playing in the new Daredevil series? Yeah, they announced that he got casted. They haven't said in what capacity.
Gandolfini.
Yeah, the son of legendary actor.
Yeah. Yeah,
what's his
but
name?
who can
God.
he play?
Yeah, that's
Because who did they say they were bringing in for the new Daredevil show? It was this. They're bringing in.
there's a number of people that they're bringing in
Yeah, but the
for it.
specific hero, the female hero they're bringing in, I can't recall off the top of my head, but they're
You're
bringing
talking
in
about
a new
Echo?
hero. No, no, no. We
Not Echo,
already
because
knew about Echo.
she's got her own show.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
got her own show, but they're bringing in another female hero for the Daredevil show, and I'm wondering if it's going to tie into one of her villains. You know what I mean? Rather than one
Yeah.
of Daredevil's villains.
And it could always be love interest. It could always
True.
be
Yeah,
new best
it could
friend.
be a detective or,
Yeah.
a series lead kind of
Yeah.
character, but just not like one of the heroes. It
Yeah.
could totally be any of those. It could be anything. So
Yeah.
Marvel will be very tight-lipped up until the last minute. So
Yeah, pretty much. Unless they're literally leading the series,
yeah.
you're never gonna get a straight answer.
No.
I swear some of the they'll be like, so Charlie Cox is back is Daredevil, right? You've announced the series. I don't know, maybe.
Can't
We'll
talk
see.
about it.
We'll see what happens.
We signed an NDA.
You've announced the series. He's leading the series. He's in the series.
You said Charlie Cox is in it. I never said that. I have no idea.
I can neither confirm nor deny. All right, what else? We got a couple more stories to talk about. Oh my God. If my God, if you're the age that we are, we grew up around the Pokemon franchise. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We've you know what, as uncool as it was to say, but we all played Pokemon. We all did it.
People embrace it now, though.
Whether you played the cards, whether you played the video games, whether you watched cartoon, you were involved in Pokemon in some way, shape, or form. I mean, it's still a multi-bajillion-dollar franchise, but
huge.
Just had to give a quick shout out. That's the wrong one. Because our boy Ash Ketchum, finally, after what is it, 30-something years?
Something like 20 years, yeah.
Finally won in Pokemon the World Championship. He's back in 98, made top 16. Was that 2002 top 8, 2005 top 8, 11 top 4, 2013 top 8. He had an off year.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, he was a runner up. Back in 2019, he was the local champion,
the Alola champ, yeah,
the Alola champion, and now after all these years, so big shout out to our boy.
He's finally the very best, like no one ever was.
That's all he's ever wanted. He's so tired. He's like, I'm so
Your man
tired.
has stayed 12 years old for 20 years. So he could hit that title.
Yeah, I believe that there's some type of thing of where he's not allowed to grow up until
he's a perpetual child.
I mean,
there's this awesome theory online. Obviously, I'm a Pokemon nerd.
Please.
There's a theory online from one of the episodes when Ho-Oh first appears, and there's that one feather that comes down, and the feather grants a wish. And the theory is that he wished that he could attain or be the very best, but it granted him infinite youth or immortality kind of thing, and he's just never aged ever since. Because his adventures span 20 plus years. Even if the episodes happen in a matter of days between each other, it's still many years.
How often are you going to have a world tournament? Really, realistically,
exactly.
At most it would be once a year. At most,
I feel like as good as that Detective Pikachu movie was, or bad, depending on your opinion, I feel like if they had Marvel money behind a movie, I think Pokemon would absolutely dominate the box office for 6 months a year easily. If they had that Marvel money behind, or that Disney money.
Yeah, they did. I remember when the direct to DVD movies were coming out damn near every other month.
Yeah, felt like it, right?
They did well. There's nothing Pokemon that hasn't sold well, whether it be clothes, cards, games, toys, movies, TV.
They just released a game last month. It's already sold 15 million or 20 million copies, and it did well. Let me rephrase that. It did 10 or 15 million in the first week.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah. I saw a meme where they were like, Call of Duty sold 100 million copies in a week. That's adorable. And it was Pokemon 30 million opening day or something like that. And it was all right, yeah.
The fact of the matter is it's just a broader audience that likes Pokemon. Going back 30 plus years.
And it's also, globally probably more played than something like a Call of Duty. Which,
they have like world championships. I'm not saying Call of Duty doesn't have that. They
Hmm.
have esports tourneys all over the place, but like people go to Japan for these world tournaments for Pokemon,
Yeah,
for the cards, for the games, for the apps because they have the mobile games too. So it's like nothing in the gaming space really compares to the level that Pokemon really is. Like if I put it on the level of production companies, it's the Mickey Mouse of video games. It
sure,
really kind of seems like it is, you know?
sure. And I'm gonna side because it request from the audience. Greg,
Okay.
I see your comment, and I'm gonna address it because he says, we don't talk about video games very often. Today was a TV episode, but that's fine because it ties in the report that wrestler Triple H could be considered to play Kratos in a live action God of War series.
I
He
wouldn't
says
I wouldn't do
anyone
it.
other than Christopher Judge is a travesty in his opinion.
I mean,
Um,
the guy who voices Kratos
mhm,
presents two unique opportunities to one represent more correctly what people from the region that Kratos comes from would have looked like and appeared like. Not to mention he's the voice of Kratos. So you have those two very big things. I think I think they don't the production company, if they're not even thinking about him, they're not understanding the gravity of how powerful and how cool it could be to have him as Kratos.
there's very few times where a voice actor who's so prolific for the
Hmm.
character ever gets to portray them in reality. And the only one I can think of was when, speak of the recently passed, Kevin Conroy got to do an
Hmm.
episode in the Arrow
In the
universe where he
Arrowverse, yep,
played an old Batman, an old Bruce
yeah,
Wayne, and got to play the character that he had voiced for 20 something years.
which was pretty
So
cool.
yeah, it
Which
was
is pretty
very
cool.
cool to see. Um, so it's an interesting
I
thought.
I I understand where Hollywood's coming from. They want to fill seats,
Yeah.
but they don't realize how many seats would go empty by not casting Judge. Like that's the thing. And I mean, he's a big dude. He has the stature for it too. And he's an actor. He's been in loads of TV shows and films. I mean, it's not like the guy's not capable.
We
Like
need to
that's
get
the
him on
thing.
the show.
He
We need to start a
Oh,
petition.
dude,
We'll get him here and we'll start a
bro,
petition.
bro, so many God of War fans, Stargate fans would show up just to be like, "Yo, let's lobby for this guy to be in the God of
Yeah.
War live movie."
You know,
I mean,
I saw someone post up a picture of like Jason Momoa in the look. I mean,
I
I could
mean,
see it. I could see
but
it.
the problem with Jason Momoa is I've never not seen Jason Momoa in any of his roles. When I see the only thing that he's done where I was like, this is good. Like I like him. I love him. I like
Mhm.
watching him in Aquaman. I like watching him
Yeah. Great
in
dude.
Justice League and Slumberland. But I think the show C, where they're
Mm.
blind, I think that's peak Jason Momoa because he's not using some of the things that
Yeah.
he does in his other roles.
He's less
Um,
himself.
Yes, I feel like that's dope. Like,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I liked him as Conan the Barbarian. People forget he did that.
That's right.
That was an excellent film. It was still a shitty film, but it was an excellent film.
It's an excellent
Um,
shitty film.
it was like Hollywood quality. They'd be like, "This is a shitty film," but it's not. It was actually really good. It just you can't compare it to Schwarzenegger's old one, his OG one. You know, you
Well,
can't recapture
obviously.
that. Um, but I feel like again, you have two images of Kratos. You have what you visually see and you have
Mm.
what you hear. So now you're going to take away two of those things by making it Triple H or Jason Momoa or The Rock. You know what I mean? Like I think that's a poor choice.
Mm.
I understand where they're coming from. So make the villain somebody prolific. The villains are interchangeable. You want big names to fill seats. fill the other roles with those things and make the lead character, Kratos, Judge, make him rise to the occasion of his castmates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Make Triple H play like Loki in the Kratos in the God of War mythos or something
I
like
don't
that.
think you've played the games.
Well, I know currently in the game Loki's like this big behemoth of a dude, but I'm saying you can do it differently.
No.
Yeah.
Loki's the boy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not. Oh my God. I said
You're
Loki. I
talking
meant
about
Thor. I meant
Yeah,
Thor.
yeah. You're talking about
Jesus Christ. I meant yes.
Big
I
Daddy
meant
Thor.
yes. I meant make Triple H play Thor
Yeah,
in the Kratos world.
Maybe there's plenty of characters he could play. But again, the lead character, that's kind of sacred. You saw it with Sonic. They fucked with how he looked, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Yo, Sony, fix this," and they did, and it worked out. In my opinion, it worked out. You got a sequel out of it, and people filled seats. You got Jim Carrey to come back a second time for that shit. Are you nuts?
He doesn't do sequels either.
He ain't doing
Man
another
doesn't do
one.
sequels.
Like he's done.
Well, yeah, he's
But
done.
it literally made him quit Hollywood. But I mean, look at the fallout we're getting over Super Mario.
Mm.
Super
Because of the
Mario was a
voice,
simple
yeah.
one. Just get the original, get Martinet to play to voice Mario. Why did you need to change that? Chris Pratt wasn't making me think Super Mario. Don't get me wrong. I love him as Star-Lord, and I love some of the other stuff that he does, but I don't think he needed to do this one. And I don't think they should have made that call. Fill the other roles with iconic voices.
I'm of two minds in that, because that's my thing. If you're gonna go with the original Mario, why not the original Luigi? Why not the original Bowser? Why not the original?
But see,
You know,
they don't matter as much. And I get that people would say, but I actually kind of like the idea of Charlie Day as Luigi.
I know. I think he knocked
Jack Black as
every
Bowser
other
sounds kind of fun.
Every other character. I've listened to the trailer over and over. I love the sound of every other character.
Yeah.
It sounds weird.
Jarring.
It sounds weird as I don't know. I don't necessarily say you had to go with the original, but I don't think you needed Chris Pratt.
I think they were worried about portraying a slapstick style of what an Italian would sound like, and I understand that. You don't want to insult people. There is that. There's that level of, but he's still an Italian plumber in the show, in the cartoon. They're still talking about the Italian guy with the mustache.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're recognizing that he still is. So it's like, I don't know. I get it. You don't want to offend people, but at the same time, this guy's been around for 30 plus years, 40 years. And he's always been an Italian plumber with a wah!
Yeah, right. Let's go. Anyway, so on some sad news, and I mean the writing was on the wall, whatever. But a good friend of the show, Breck Bassinger, who plays Stargirl. Stargirl has been canceled after 3 seasons on the CW.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a bad series. I don't think it was a bad series.
It was a good show.
She was great. If you guys missed it, she was here. She talked to us. She was lovely. She was very sweet.
Awesome.
One of the few stars who really, nutted up and came on this show for the hard hitting questions.
And she was excited too. It was
she
really
was
nice.
she was so sweet. She was
so
really
cool.
sweet. And the writing's been on the wall with all the changes at DC. I mean, they're trying to get their house in order. They're trying, they had already canceled, Arrow's already been canceled. Legends has been canceled. What's the other one? Black Lightning. They're literally going through the list and we're chopping down.
Them all down.
Yeah, all that was left was Stargirl, which had already filmed everything for season 3. So we kind of knew that they were going to air it out. All that's left now is that Superman and Lois show, which now finding out that the one actor is out of it, and there's they're recasting, and it's a whole thing. So you kind of have the feeling like that'll be their last season too.
Yeah.
I really do believe that DC is cleaning the slate clean so that they can kind of reestablish. And with someone like James Gunn at the helm, which they've already announced, they've dropped the whole DCEU. That's done. It is now the DC universe. That's what they're going with, which, I get it. They wanted to separate themselves from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's DC and it's their universe. It's the DC.
I mean, That's the thing. We all know that Marvel's strategy worked,
Hmm.
but it worked for Marvel. If DC follows suit, even down to the name, it just looks like they're copying, which unfortunately, that's what it's always seemed like with the comics, anyways.
Yeah.
So, a smart business person like James Gunn or whomever they've got now, just finally deciding we need a 10-year strategy and everything, and putting in the groundwork and the layout. They're If they stay away from looking like Marvel, they have a good foot to stand on, because DC's television has always been top notch,
Yeah.
because they're the only ones willing to do it up
Yeah.
until, Disney Plus,
Yeah.
up until the mouse power came in.
Yeah, I would say the strength in DC was
Their TV.
well, first their animated movies.
Yes,
That was always
top
top
notch.
tier,
Top
number
notch.
one,
Yeah, love
followed
their animation.
by the TV series. Have
Yep.
always been, I mean, it's hard to say, truthful to the source material and things like that, but within a certain stretch, they were as close as you can get. And if when you read about it and when you like find out from the actors, like that they were fighting with like hands tied behind their backs. They weren't allowed to use certain characters, weren't allowed to
Hmm.
make certain connections and references, and
Yep.
we're doing it on a tenth of the budget that the movies are doing it, and
Yep.
and yet they were still superior to
They
what
had
it
better
is they were building.
storytelling. And see,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's the same concept of movies from the 80s and from the 70s. They didn't have these big ticket things to rely on.
Mhm.
They had to use practical effects and storytelling to get you where they needed you to go. So many of these big blockbuster triple A's don't need to do the heavy lifting with the story, which is why the stories are usually typically weak,
Mhm.
because they're relying on CGI and big
Yeah,
budget set
action
pieces.
sequences, and yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's okay. That's okay. But when you step away from the big bright lights and the car chase scenes, you realize the story's kind of weak. Uh, Marvel has proven that formula wrong in some ways, and has really stepped it up with some storytelling, but some of their stories are weak. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? Because they
yeah,
rely heavily on nostalgia to carry
yeah,
you half the way.
yeah.
So DC could pull it off. And Mike was saying it's not hard to beat Zack Snyder's shit, and he's not wrong. He's absolutely not wrong. Zack Snyder's stuff was good-ish.
There's
Like,
like
that's the thing.
parentheses question mark.
Asterix. Um, I I didn't hate Zack Snyder's stuff, mostly because I'm a fan of Zack Snyder,
Sure.
and I like his shooting style. I like his palette, like that he chooses,
Storytelling, yeah.
his storytelling, and I liked everything that he did. But everything that they did was rushed. They didn't put any of the groundwork in like Marvel did. And again, that kind of contradicts what I said a few minutes ago, where I said they shouldn't do what Marvel did, but not when it comes to laying the foundation.
Sure.
You introduce Superman, you reintroduce Batman, you say hi to Wonder Woman, and then you're like Justice League, and it's like,
Yeah.
bro, I have no emotional investment in these
Yeah. No
characters.
connection. Sure.
Yeah, like sure they're amazing, and I've been reading comics, but you can't rely solely on that, because there's so many people, generations,
Yeah.
who aren't that versed in it. They're
Um,
just iconic people you see on a lunchbox.
that's just true. It's true. They're relying on the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
And where Marvel was willing, because let's be honest, uh 15 years ago, Captain America wasn't the blockbuster
No,
draw.
no.
Thor wasn't a blockbuster draw. Like they had their niche, they had their passionate fan base, but
Yeah.
they weren't global recognizable symbols like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
I feel like Captain America was 75 years ago
Well,
when
yeah.
he was used as propaganda and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
thing, is maybe at some point these characters could have been household names, like when they first came out or when they first appeared,
Yeah.
but as the ebb and flow of time comes on,
Yeah.
they fade away into the obscurity.
But we're
But
talking like
Marvel,
remember early 2000s, Spider-Man, X-Men, even
Yes.
Blade because of the movies.
Yes. I
Like those
mean,
were widely recognizable household names. If
yeah.
you were like, what's Iron Man's best friend name? People were like, I don't fucking know. I don't even know what Iron Man's name is. Like
Yeah.
but
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
now
Yeah.
they are the be all end all of like, front guys. But
Yeah.
Mike did have a question I want to answer, where he said, are they still doing the Gotham Police show by the Batman director, Matt Reeves?
No, that's done.
No, no.
That's
They're
been done.
still doing the Penguin spinoff.
Mhm.
And I actually, funny enough, I do have this great segue because I
But
actually have a question. I have an answer.
but with what's his name, Colin Farrell playing
Colin
Penguin.
Farrell as Penguin. Yep. But, and this is the excellent segue, Mike. It's like he knew the script. I have this. That is Chris. What's her name? Christina Milioti, which another tie-in. She was on How I Met Your Mother. She played the mom. She was eventually the mom in How I Met Your Mother. She's been cast in the Penguin series to play what was her name? Sophia Falcone. So she's playing the
Okay.
daughter
She's daughter of Falcone.
of
Okay.
Falcone, the guy who dies at the end of the Batman. Spoiler alert. Falcone. So obviously she's gonna come in. She's playing opposite Colin Farrell. Right now the working title for it is the Penguin. Because the Batman might as well spinoff be the Penguin.
The
It
Penguin Plus.
it is from director Matt Reeves, slated for HBO Max. Colin Farrell's back in it, and according to Deadline, Milioti will play Sophia Falcone in The Penguin, who's the daughter of John Turturro.
Turturro.
Turturro, thank
Turturro.
you. John Turturro's daughter, Carmine Falcone, in the Batman. Sophia and the Penguin will be reportedly fighting over control of Gotham City's underbelly in the HBO Max original series. So
I wonder if they're going to do like the Gotham TV show. Just swing back to that. Um, Fish Mooney was an
mhm,
excellent fucking character. Like
mhm.
absolutely excellently written. At least in the early parts of the series, I
Yeah,
absolutely love the character.
yeah.
I wonder if they're going to make her as vicious. Like that would be awesome. It'd be awesome to see somebody, especially how they portray women so poorly in some of these
hmm
shows
hmm
and movies, especially when it comes to crime dramas.
hmm
Like she has the potential to be the queen pin, and
Yeah,
I think that would be dope. Like if they do it right, like she has to be able to hold her own on screen
yeah,
opposite of Colin Farrell's Penguin, which
yeah.
he was a really good Penguin.
It was
Like,
good.
what he was a
Understated. Yeah,
really good mobster. He
yeah.
doesn't necessarily even have to be the Penguin. Like, it's just a
Exactly.
nickname. Um,
Well, here's the thing.
so yeah.
I think they cast her specifically
Hmm.
because as an actress, and I love her as an actress, and have seen her in many things, she can play that very sweet,
Hmm.
innocent, right? If you're a female crime boss, you have to leverage. I'm just a itty bitty bit of
Hmm.
girl, and nobody can.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
But she has played a badass in some incredible stuff where she is scary.
Yeah.
In some of the
That
stuff
would be
she's
cool
done,
to see.
she is scary.
Yeah.
So I think she specifically was cast because of her ability to kind of flip flop back
Yeah.
and forth between like, oh my God, she's so adorable, and oh
Yeah.
my God, she's going to murder you.
Yeah.
So I
See,
definitely think, yeah,
as long as they don't fall into the tropes that they typically do, and they make her they write the character strongly, because she'll act it out. Like she'll act it out strongly. Like
yeah,
I'm not even worried about that. What I worry about is they have to make the
the
character
writing,
worthy. They have to make the character worthy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
with it being on, I think it's going to be on HBO Max, right?
yep,
Yeah.
HBO Max.
So I mean, the violence is going to be ramped up. It's going to be heavy scale. So I'm really excited to see what they do with it. Um, I thought his Penguin was excellent, man.
Yeah,
I thought his
yeah.
Penguin was excellent.
It'll be interesting. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see, because like Mike said, originally it was supposed to be this like police crime drama, year one Batman style, and it was supposed to set place before the events of the Batman movie, and
Mm.
then
Then it's after.
that got wiped away, and then it became the Penguin show,
Yeah.
and it takes place directly after the Batman story, which makes a little sense.
Well, it makes sense if they want to include it in the continuity. They want it to progress the overall story, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could have done if they kept it connected to the Marvel Cinematic
The
Universe.
Agents of
Yeah,
S.H.I.E.L.D..
R.I.P.
What should have
Agents of
been?
S.H.I.E.L.D.
What
Oh,
should have been?
such a great
What
show,
could have
though.
been? Yeah. So anyway, all right. One more
Yeah.
story before we jump to break, and I have a feeling Mr. Nemo here will be very opinionated on this one. The reports that came out that Witcher season 4 will be going away from Henry Cavill, and not a new character, not where's a straight up recast. So Geralt, what's his name? Geralt,
Geralt.
the Witcher is Liam Hemsworth. Is him? Is he? Not a younger version, not a cousin, not his twin
Him.
stepbrother that was born in a tube, whatever. It's him. It is the same character. I'm curious. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this?
I absolutely love and hate this whole scenario. So first off, I'm extraordinarily disappointed that Henry Cavill is walking away from the role. Um, I don't believe for one second it's because the writers were going a different direction than what he wanted. I believe
Interesting.
DC drove up to his house with a dump truck full of cash and said, "Hey, come be Superman again." And he was like, "Fuck, I'm doing The Witcher." And they're like, "Yeah, but we got all this money." And he was like, "Okay, I'll come back and be Superman."
He's like, yeah,
I
but
mean,
Zack Snyder ruined it, and they're like, no, but it's James Gunn
but
now,
we're
and
gonna fix it.
he's like, oh shit, James G
I
Gunny.
think, I think, I think I think the man had to have a coming to Jesus moment and decide which one he could follow through.
Mm,
Like he would have stayed for all 7 seasons of The Witcher, I guarantee it. I don't think I don't think it's a writer's problem. I think I think that spin came out to prevent people from disliking Henry Cavill as an actor. And that's fine. I don't fault him. I don't think it's a moral question. It's one role over another. It's simple. Do I love both roles? Absolutely, but I would not fault him for choosing Superman over Geralt of Rivia. I really wouldn't.
right
Um,
now, I agree with you partially because I mean he was pretty open about the fact that he's a diehard player of the games, of the source material,
I
and
mean,
really
he's
wanted that show to be
yeah,
much closer
yeah,
to the
to the
material,
books. Yes,
and
yes,
he was pretty open about that. So while I kind of agree, like that can't be the only reason,
yeah.
I do think it played a part. It played a part, and like this isn't the role I signed up for,
I
and
think I think Idris Elba said something recently about being asked to play James Bond that
mm,
made me think of why potentially, I'm not saying it's absolutely truth, but
sure,
Idris Elba was saying that playing James Bond would do nothing for him as an actor in his career. So I understand not wanting to take the role.
yeah,
Uh, would it be a big deal if a black actor played James Bond? Absolutely. But it could progress somebody else's career far
sure,
more than it could progress his.
yeah,
And I think if you're being asked to play Geralt of Rivia or Superman, the choice is Superman. Especially when you have Ben Affleck coming back as Batman,
mm,
The Rock playing Black Adam. You got James Bond coming and playing Doctor Fate. So I mean, I don't want to do any spoilers because Black
yeah,
Adam is
yeah,
still, but like the potential
sure.
for great.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
I don't know.
he's.
Have you seen the reports of the financial situation of Black Adam and how
I'm sure it
uh,
didn't clear.
they're saying that with, and this is why within a month they jumped to streaming,
Yeah,
and on
very
demand.
quickly.
And they said newest report is because the first report came in that they were going to lose money, that they were going
Yeah,
to lose upwards of $50 million on this. Now, I love it because the studio jumped to his defense and they're like, no, 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 we're not going to lose money. That's why we went to stream to video on demand, because once you account for that, we'll break even. That was their good spin on it. That was the
yeah.
good
It's
spin on it, where they're like,
that's not how
no,
this
no, no,
works,
no.
guys.
Once the video on demand stuff goes, we're going to break even. That's not good.
That's not how it works.
In
Yeah.
movie making, breaking even is good when you made an indie movie or
Yeah.
you made a low budget.
When you
know,
spent
big-
$5 million to make a movie as opposed
Yeah.
to $250 million.
I mean, I've heard reports upwards of like 500 million between salaries and special effects and marketing and all this stuff. I mean, to break even on that is,
It's harsh.
and
Yeah.
it's funny to me because hubris is a funny thing in that, prior to the release, you got guys like The Rock, who I love The Rock, I love all his stuff, but like he's going on like, this is the game changer, this is gonna change the world, this is gonna light things on fire, and then after the fact, when it like did well first week and then just plummeted second week, they're like, listen, you gotta, manage expectations. This is the first movie, we're competing out of these, MCU's been doing this for 20 years. And like, this is our first stab at it. So, like, it's like, wow, that script flipped quick.
Yeah, that changed quick. But
Yeah.
you gotta think something to bring up with that is Marvel didn't clear $1 billion on every movie that they've ever made. Some of their movies didn't clear as high as Avengers,
Right.
or any of the Avengers. Honestly, they're
Yeah.
all like in the billions area.
I know.
So to kickstart the DC universe, it's okay that Black Adam didn't clear. Like, obviously, find a way to make that happen and make that work, but learn from it and do something better. But continue. Don't just drop the character, because the potential for him being great later
Yeah.
is still there.
You have that. Yeah.
So
All right. Anyway, Nemo, it's been great having you with me. I see our guest has joined. So I'm going to toss it to a quick break while I go say hi to our guest. And we're going to come back with a lot more show. We've got the amazing Ashley Williams joining us live here. We're going to answer all the questions. Everybody's super amped for it. And so we'll be back. Hey, Nemo, say bye.
hey, see you guys later.
All right. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show's going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I bet you cry and run away. 'Cause with all the lies I keep, made you believe this was me. The truth is I am not at all who I preach myself to be. And I deserve to be alone. And I'm alone here with me. And after all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I wonder if you would believe that with all the ways you've tried, I couldn't change my selfish needs.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. I am, of course, CQ. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm so excited. I was just saying I'm gonna try not to smile like a doofus the whole time because I'm so very excited for my guest tonight. So my guest tonight is a versatile actress and brings her talents to both comedies and dramas in the mediums of film, television, and theater. She shot over 200 episodes of television, a dozen TV pilots, and a dozen TV movies. She's been on Broadway, Off-Broadway, and worked in regional theater. We all absolutely adored her as Victoria on the hit TV series How I Met Your Mother. She currently has a multi-year deal with the Hallmark Channel, including starring in films, directing them, writing them, producing them. And as if all that wasn't enough, she's also started a women's directing initiative there called Make Her Mark. I'm going to try and get through this and keep my composure. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to our guest tonight, Miss Ashley Williams.
Oh my goodness. That was an embarrassingly long biography. Whoever put that biography out there needs to cut it down. You poor thing.
It's beautiful.
Sorry.
It's so well written. It hits the mark so well. Let me tell you. Okay?
It is verbose. Well, thank you. Thanks for going through all that. And I got to say, I mean, the reason I'm here is because I'm a massive fan of yours. I saw you, as you know, perform live at a mutual friend of ours' house, and you killed. It was so much fun to watch you and your comedy. You want me to keep going?
Oh my God, please. No, stop.
I mean, but seriously though, dude, like you really murdered. And it is like it's a really big deal when somebody performs live like that. And it was an intimate space. And a couple people bombed that night. I'm not going to name names, but then you got up there and you slayed. And I was like, who is this guy? And then I think my husband like beelined for you afterwards and was like, what's up? We want to be friends. So I am here. The feeling is mutual. I'm so happy to be on your show. I'm totally honored that you're having me. And
I'm sweating. God damn it, woman. I'm sweating now. I'm burning beet red. I'm sweating. I've never been so embarrassed. Thank you for those kind words. And I'll tell the flip side of that is, I spotted you in the audience before, and I went, oh my God, that's Victoria. Oh my God, it's Victoria. And I was like, no, keep calm. Keep calm. It's cool. It's fine. Whatever. And I totally played it cool. I was like, I'm not going to be the weirdo that's going to run over to her and like, oh my God, I love you. Like, I was just like, I'm going to play it cool. And then I remember I was talking to someone and I get a tap on the shoulder and I turn and we're face to face.
Oh wait, did I tap you on the shoulder?
It was well, you and your husband were together.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't know. I was I can't recall anything you said at all. Because I just
I remember you avoiding eye contact with me. Which always makes me pursue harder. I'm like, what? Who's he looking at? Let me get in there. Who is this guy?
There's your moves, guys. There's how you get the girl. Make eye contact. Yeah, just drag him in.
Like literally, this is you. You were like, oh, it's really nice to meet you. I was like, where's he going?
Because I was like, man, if I look right at you, I'll like swoon, and that'll be really weird.
Oh, stop it.
Yes,
hilarious.
It's so true. It's so true. But you were so, and the last thing I'll say, and I came on this show the very next week, and I went, you guys are never going to believe what happened to me. And I told the story because I was like, she asked to take a picture with me. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding? Like, no one has ever wanted a picture with me.
Oh.
All right. Let alone someone who's.
Wait, did I take it on my phone?
I have it. I think I don't know if we both have, but I have it.
Must have taken it on your phone.
It might have been.
But that's weird that I would ask you for a picture and then be like, get your phone out.
I don't know who's your
Why'd I
husband
do
took it,
that?
somebody. But yeah, it was
okay.
such a nice
All
thing.
right.
Anyway.
Well,
gush
I'm
enough.
so happy to be here. I'm a big fan.
Thank
I'm
you
gonna
so
gush
much.
as much as the challenge is on.
All right, fair enough. And we do have a mutual friend, not Carter Bays. Everybody knows. I've had
Super
Carter
guy?
Bays on the show. Oh my God, love him to death. He's so awesome.
Nicest guy in the world.
We do have another mutual friend, and in fact, because I had tweeted about him, like, oh my God, Ashley's gonna be on the show, blah blah. And Eddie McClintock from Warehouse 13.
No way. I love Eddie.
He says to say, hey, tell Ashley I said hey.
Love that guy. How's he doing? Have
He's
you
good.
been in touch with him recently?
We good, yeah. We because I go to a lot of conventions, so we bump into each other once in a while. And he's been on the show. He has the record on this show. I could not get him off. We talked for almost 2.5 hours.
Oh, geez. Don't worry.
was-
That's not going to happen because bedtime comes up in this house right quick.
That's right. That's right.
That's he's honestly one of the nicest guys. I had the best time working with him.
Yeah.
I love Eddie. He's such a good guy.
There you go. I will tell him you send your love, and
Please
yeah,
do.
he was so happy to see you were coming up. So anyway,
Aw.
at some point we've got to get started with the interview. Guys,
gosh.
thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. As always, if you have questions for Miss Ashley Williams, please put them in the chats. I will see them. And if they're appropriate, you dirty, dirty people, we will ask her and see what she says. But the first question, as always, with every single guest, I always like to know, what is your military connection?
My Uncle Mac. My Uncle Mac has been serving. I think he just recently retired. But he's been serving since I was like 5. And he's based in Virginia. He's one of those guys, man, like a cigar always in his mouth. He's such a good guy. We love Uncle Mac, and of course, I'm so grateful for everything that he's done for our country. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you know what job he does? Out of curiosity,
Ooh.
that's a
Something
tough one.
Honestly, he's really high powered, but because I do feel like it was changing. I kind of want to look it up on Facebook. Is that a weird thing to do right now?
Not at all.
Uncle Mac.
We're shout out to Mac.
Mac Mullins. There he is. Uncle Mac. He went to Dartmouth. Hey.
Hey, we're
Yeah,
learning
you know
about
what?
Uncle.
It doesn't have his oh yeah, okay, I have his birthday. It doesn't have his what he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's retired now, but he's the
That's
best.
awesome.
See, there's a picture of him golfing. Hopefully he's doing a lot more golfing.
He
than
definitely
work
served
these
for
days.
quite a while if he's golfing, because
Yes,
you have to work your way
yes.
up to that level. But awesome, man. I will thank him for his service. We appreciate
Yeah.
that, and thank you for your support. So being that we are a pop culture themed show, I'm curious, is there anything or what if, like, what do you geek out about? What's your thing?
Okay. Well, this might be a little bit more touchy-feely than many of your guests, but recently I became absolutely obsessed with trying to crack who the guest was that offended Glennon Doyle on her podcast with Abby Wambach. Do you know about this saga?
I've heard loosely about it.
I mean, I'm going to say from like midnight to 6 a.m. one night, I just was sat there sleuthing. And I have a couple of suspicions that I'm too scared to say out loud because that's serious stuff. But that kind of, it's like every once in a while, it'll kind of nab me, I'm very upset and concerned that Britney Spears' Instagram was taken down either today or yesterday.
Okay.
I hope she's okay. I think she's posted pictures of her kids, and I hope that didn't get her in trouble. But I had some like actual anxiety about that.
It's the empathy. That's you connecting. That's
You know what? That's what it is. Well, and it's also I just think I'm so worried about her. I hope she's okay.
Is that the mom in you coming out?
Or the sister or yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
think it's a woman,
Is that, I can't imagine. It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard to, I mean, hey, side tangent, but you see any of these I mean, mega stars who just blow up overnight and become like you can't live a normal life. You can't go out, and I can't imagine how tough that is.
She's set up for failure, you know? It's just it's poor thing, you know.
Yeah.
And like by the way, like crazy talented. Like you watch her 2000, I'm going to say like no, maybe it was like 99. Like brilliant performer. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so that's been stressing me out recently. What else do I have for you? You know, it's the dark corners of the internet is really where I
I
reside.
like it. I like it. So many people go for the easy, like, oh, I'm really into music, or I'm really into,
Oh,
yoga.
I
Like,
mean,
oh,
well, yeah.
the dark corners of the internet. We're very much alike that way. I like that. We probably cross paths on some weird websites. That's all right.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
are there any just getting to know you? Are there any charities that you're really behind, or any things that you really support that you want to give a minute to shout out?
That's so nice of you to ask. Every time I mention my charity, I'm always like, is anyone going to be annoyed?
Please.
My mother died of Alzheimer's disease about 5 years ago. So we do this crazy fundraiser for the Alzheimer's Association every year. It's called the Dance Party to End Alz. We actually just had it. And we raised $525,000. I was gonna say million, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. That would have been a whole. That would have been a.
Alzheimer's
We
is
would have.
cured. There you go.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah, so $525,000. It was an awesome event, and the idea behind it is celebrating our lives and the people who are taking care of the people with the illness are often their lives are more in danger than the person who's actually been diagnosed with the disease, because the caretaking is exhausting. So what we have is a lot of caretakers at these events who are just partying. I mean, these people dance, they drink, they deserve it. So we dance all night. We got all these amazing local bands in Nashville. Brad Paisley, who happens to be one of my family members, he played a couple songs. We had just this crazy awesome lineup. We had Melinda Doolittle. We had oh my gosh, Jay Allen. Anyway, it was an awesome event. So the Alzheimer's Association. So I'm kind of annoying about that. I pipe up about it
No,
probably too
absolutely.
much.
We love to see
So
what people are passionate about. That's the best part.
yeah, that's my thing.
Okay. Well, I did my research, and a little bit about you. I know you were born in Westchester, New York. I know that you studied at Boston University, and the School of Theater Arts, obviously, and you spent a year abroad in London. I know you're the daughter of a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist. He's a freelance health and science writer. Yeah, I know. I'm curious. I'm curious
Dude,
though.
this is so awesome. Yes.
I'm curious. What is what's the family like growing up? What was the unit? I know you have your sister Kim, and what was it like? What was Ashley as a child? What was that like growing up? We're gonna get into it.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I haven't actually been asked this question in like years. Usually people have me on podcasts and they just want to know, what it's like to shoot a Hallmark movie in the summertime. So yeah, I mean, I'm the youngest of three kids. I have an older brother as well. He's a beekeeper in Tennessee. He was a firefighter for a really long time. And he actually just left the fire service because his beekeeping hobby kind of took over his life in a cool way. And then I had I still have my big sister Kimberly Williams Paisley, who I've always been very close to. She's 7 years older than me, and then my brother's 4 years older than me. So I was the youngest, and I think I'm every cliche of the youngest child. I love a good time. I am sort of the loudest. most obnoxious of the three kids. My brother went to boarding school when I was in like fifth grade. So then I was an only child from fifth grade until I went off to college too. And so I think I kind of got that only child vibe, where it was like me and my parents hanging out much more than it was with my older brother and sister, who they very much were like parented hard, and
Sure.
with me, like, I cooked most dinners and like had friends over, and then would like go out to dinner with my parents and my friends. Um, but my parents worked a lot. They were always pretty concerned about money.
Mm.
And that was a big, big stress in our lives and really dictated, a lot of what we were doing. And what we did. So it was rough, but I do think, being the child of freelance work, people who worked in freelance, which I essentially do too now as an actress, I think it created like a pretty good awareness of scrappy work ethic, which I do have, sometimes to a fault. And I'm really goal oriented, task oriented. I'm really organized. This is my bedroom. This actually is not my bedroom. My family's super nomadic, but like we move around a lot for work, and I think that would only be possible with two children. I have two children. It would only be possible if I was very type A. So anyway, it was a great childhood. And one thing that really affected me was that when I was 11, my sister got a movie called Father of the Bride with Steve Martin and Diane Keaton and Martin Short. And I was already really obsessed with my sister. So then suddenly she was a movie star. And then she, forever till right now, she's my idol. And she's a really good role model. She's a really good girl, like a good friend, she's got the best advice, and she's so kind and so generous. So she's my best friend, and
That's awesome.
also, my icon. Not to be weird, but it is a little
No,
weird.
that's awesome. That's so awesome to hear. I love it. I do want to. So Kaz in the chat, he did to what we were just talking about. He says he lost his grandparents to Alzheimer's, and his aunt is suffering with it now. And my parents have been and are currently the caretakers. So it's an absolutely exhausting endeavor. So thank you, Ashley, so much for what you do. So
Yeah, of course. Cause I mean, this is you're not alone. And here's the amazing thing about what the Alzheimer's Association does is they provide resources to caretakers and people living with the disease all over the country. So wherever you live, Cause, you can call the 1-800 Alzheimer's number that you just have to Google it. And you'll be connected with somebody locally to you who can sit with you 24 hours a day and talk through what's going on, connect you with other people who are dealing with the disease, connect you with resources, therapists, hospitals, programs, studies, etc. And I highly recommend that. Honestly, we used them a bunch when my mom was living with the disease. And as all of us are living more and more, more and more of us are going to get this disease, Alzheimer's and other dementias. So one of the critical things that the Alzheimer's Association does, and what I'm passionate about, is destigmatizing the disease. So I'm really glad that you spoke up about it right now. I'm really glad you let me know. Please keep doing that.
yeah, that's so awesome. One more question, and you kind of alluded to it. You kind of brought it up. Your brother-in-law is Brad Paisley. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Were you a country music fan prior to? Are you now? I mean,
I got to tell you something. I am a Brad Paisley fan, but I am not a country fan in general. It's not really my jam. I am such a hippie, Like, I love indie music. I love U2. I love Coldplay. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Sure.
I'm from New York. Like, um, sort of begrudgingly was like, who's this Brad Paisley guy when she started dating him? Because I saw the cowboy hat and the tight jeans and I was like, what are you doing? She was like, no, he's really cute and he's really talented. And I went to my first concert and it was such a different vibe, like I grew up going to like concerts in Portchester, New York. Like I went to like a live concert, where there's people crowd surfing and you're like I remember one time I was at this live concert and I held on to this like fence while the like crowd behind me like tried to like pull me like during the music, and I was like, yes. That was really my relationship to live music, like was just like feel it and drink and smoke a little bit and really like get it in your bones, so to
Sure.
show up to a Brad Paisley concert where it's like beer and like fuzzy um cowboy hats was a very new environment for me. But what I loved about it was that Brad was the way that he performs is so direct. Like he really makes contact with his audience and gets really specific to who he's singing to. So it's much more intimate at a Brad Paisley concert than, the concerts at the time that I was attending. And it felt a lot more sort of humble and kind of salt of the earth, Um, and I do think that that's Brad. I mean, he's an amazing, first of all, he's an amazing guy, amazing husband, amazing dad, but also just watching him on stage, the pure skill that comes out of that guitar playing and it's like, I don't really know what he's doing. It's like, I don't really know what
Just
it
like
is.
that.
But like, if you actually watch what he's doing, you're like, wait, each one of those times that he's connecting is a sound, and they're all different and it's so fast. I mean, I really think he's one of the best living guitar players right now. And he's also got an incredible skill for comedy. He's been doing this like live comedy show in Vegas recently where it's kind of like, an intimate night with Brad Paisley. And, he just gets up there and starts talking and making jokes. And I think he did 4 shows this year, and I think he's hoping to do more next year. But people are just loving watching him live in this cool. So anyway, he always surprises me. It's he's a really, really, really fun. He's a really fun guy to suddenly have in your family.
Okay, so now the question of the hour: who's funnier, me or him?
Ooh, you're so mean. What are you doing to me, man?
I'll recant the question. I'll let you. I'm gonna let you slide on that one. Well, privately, you can tell me it's me. It's fine. So we got to know a little bit about you before the career. And well, actually, one more question then before we get into your career. Do you remember when the thought became like, oh, I kind of want to do this acting thing? Like, do you remember what you were thinking you might be when you grow up before it was acting?
Well, yeah. Initially, when I was growing up, I wanted to be my sister. And then when she became Julia Roberts, I wanted to become her, like a famous actress. Not famous so much, just honestly, I'm so weird with my sister. I just think she's amazing. And we are different. But she, at a young age, as I was looking at strong women, around me loving their job, she was in the forefront. I mean, it did kind of mess me up a little bit, like being right on the cusp of puberty at my very most awkward. And my sister's like on Leno, going to the Oscars. But I gotta say, like, there was always kind of that thing. Like, my sister became an actress because she was so beautiful. Like, she was the kind of kid, like, walking down the street, like, people would stop and be like, can I take a picture of your child? Like, she was so pretty. And I was her little sister who was always like, hiding behind my mom, and I was like, ah, you know, like she's like this stunning vision, and everyone's like, can I touch her skin? And I'm like, hi, because she fulfilled that role for me of just like, well, look at her, you know. And I think that's still sort of our dynamic, is I'm just always like, I mean, I don't know, she's just, look at her, you know. So, you know, her becoming an actress was just like, well, yeah, me too, I'll do that too, you know. I wanted to go to the college that she went to. I wanted to live in her room when she left for college. You know, I still have we call it sad blanket. It's actually my 8-year-old was using it last night, but it's called sad blanket. And it's the blanket that used to be my sister's sleeping bag. But when she went to college and I cried myself to sleep every night for like 3 months, I started sleeping in her sleeping bag. And now whenever something bad happens, my husband brings it out. It's called sad blanket. And now the kids use it too.
That is so adorable. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. I recommend that everybody has a sad blanket. And because it's also good code. Like if I'm sitting on the couch wrapped in sad blanket, my husband walks in, he's like, oh, okay, got it. You know, like immediately, he knows what kind of day it's been.
I'm a big proponent. We talk about mental health all the time. And like, I know like me and my wife, we have the code word where it's like, hey man, I'm just feeling blue. Like when you can't put that, like I can't verbalize what I'm feeling. It's just, it's a code blue situation of where like, I'm having a rough day, and you know, you need that support. But that's so awesome.
I say like, I'm at a low tide. That's what I say. I'm at a low tide right now, because I want him to know that I might be a little impatient, you know.
It's just warning. It's just warning. We're just putting it out there.
It's a low tide right now.
So speaking about your sister and your career and everything, I know that you made your acting debut in a non-speaking role in the 1993 drama Indian Summer, which featured your sister Kimberly.
How do you think I got that job?
Nepotism. It's a great thing in the business, isn't it?
It's the best. Yeah.
Do you remember like that crossing the threshold, going like, okay, now I'm doing this? Do you remember that, like what you thought, what you felt?
Nobody has ever asked me this question before. So I was at sleepaway camp. Okay. I was in 7th grade, and I was at sleepaway camp called Chimney Corners in Massachusetts in the Berkshires. And I went into the nurses. I had asthma, right? So I had to go into the like nurses station twice a day at camp. So I always became friends with the nurses. They always had like tissues and, you know, candy in case you were crying. So I became friends with this nurse, and I came in one day and she said, your mom is on the phone in the back. She's waiting for you. And I was like, what? And I thought somebody had died.
Sure.
You know, you get a call at sleepaway camp, especially in 1992. And that's bad news, you know. There were no cell phones. There's no, you know, it was snail mail was the only contact with your parents. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And I ran into this back office, which I'd never been allowed in before. And I picked up the phone, and my mom's on the phone, and she goes, what's his name? Mike Binder, the director of Kim's new movie that she's shooting right now, saw a picture of you. Kim showed him a picture of you, and he wants to offer you a part in the movie, where you play the camp slut. I was like, what? And meanwhile, all I wanted to be was an actress, right? Like, I'm in the play at this summer camp. I'm doing all this stuff because this is like a couple years after Father the Bride. And she's like, but here's the thing, you have to leave camp a day early. And I was like, I don't care. Mike Binder, let's do it. And literally my mom was like, okay. I'll tell them. So I left. They picked me up a day early from camp, which is a big deal. Like, I didn't have the like goodbye ceremony, like the graduating from archery, you know, bonanza, the final capture the flag. I gave all that up to play the camp slut at my mom's insistence. And she picked me up, and we flew from Boston to Canada. And then I got to work for like 2 weeks on this movie, with Alan Arkin, and Elizabeth Shue was in it, and all these amazing actors. It was such a cool movie. And yeah, I was the camp slut. So I've come a long way to Hallmark Christmas Queen, you know? It's just hard. Remember I told you about hard work and perseverance?
Yeah. It's the circle of life. You start out the slut and you end the Hallmark Queen.
I don't know, man. I don't think we've circled back yet. I might go back to the slut. It's a long career.
I mean,
One can
somebody's got to
only
put that
hope.
on it. You got to put it on a shirt. You got to put that on a shirt. That's a great quote. Uh, someone clip it and use it on social media. So I mean, and that's so awesome. And honestly, there's so much in your career that we could be here for hours, and I got to respect your time. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about How I Met Your Mother,
Yeah.
because I'm a diehard fan. I love it.
Aw.
I'm one of those people that there's those people. Friends is better, or The Office is better. This, but How I Met Your Mother to me stands on top of the giants of TV, because it's just such a great show. Be that as it is, I got to share and I never do this because I'm like, you're the guest, you're here, we're here to hear from you. But I got to say, the show has special meaning to me and my wife as well. As we were dating, we were watching it. When we got married, we would watch it, we would rewatch it, finish it, and then start it over again. Like, that was just kind of our thing to do. When my wife got pregnant and her hormones were all over the place, that was like the thing she could lock into and kind of just ride the wave of all the hormones and things. I remember when the baby was born and she was dealing with a little bit of the postpartum, and she's sitting in a rocking chair crying hysterically, and I'm like, what can I do? And she's like, I don't know. And then I would just put on How I Met Your Mother, and her and the baby would just lay
Wow.
there and watch. And so
Wow.
yeah, and I mean, literally at least once a year. At least once a year, we start over from the beginning and watch it again.
No way.
Absolutely, I swear to God. I don't say this to other guests. This is not blowing smoke. It's true. And we really love it. And to this day, we still say you should have been the mother. I don't care. I've talked to Carter about
That's
it.
what I say. Totally. What did Carter say?
Yeah, I mean, he says they had
regret.
thoughts. Yeah, Well, like, there was, I mean, obviously, and here's a real question. I know that there was a legitimate concern. They're like, well, if the show ends on season 1, we need to be able to wrap it up. And were you aware at the time you're shooting this that if it doesn't go past the season 1, that like you're the mom and surprise? Like, were you aware of that at the time?
Absolutely not. No. Did not
Okay.
know. I do remember calling my agent after I'd done a couple episodes, and I was like, I think the show's kind of great. Could you like call them and just say like that I'd love to be the mother if they'd want me? And he was like in hindsight, this was so long ago. I think this was like almost 20 years ago. Like, I would never say something like that now, but like at the time I'm like, let them know I'm open to being the mom, you
Like, I
know?
want to be the main thing that drives this show. Can you let them know?
Yeah. Just let them know that like I would be open to that if they wanted to make me an offer.
Hey,
Amazing.
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's all I'm saying. Take your shot.
So and my agent like came back and he was like, apparently they have a plan. And I was like, oh, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Am I in the plan? No. Oh, okay. And then and then I did like that little stint in season 1, and then the show sort of grew in popularity, and a couple of times I would run into some of the, like, I would run into Carter, I'd run into Pam Fryman, who's one of the was the director and producer. And a couple of times they would be like, we want to have you back. And I would be like, okay, like no call, no. And then finally, when they did call again, I was so excited. But, I have to say, like, going back again, it was so fun because everybody, had sort of changed and grown. And I think it was like in season 8 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
And
think you had an appearance in season 5, and then came back again in like 7 and 8, and then a little thing in 9. So yeah.
maybe that's right. I don't know. I don't remember.
Not that I watch it or
But
anything.
I know, I'm like, whoa. But yeah, it was sort of expanded. But I have to say, like, when, since it ended, how many years ago did it end? 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
2016? So it's been
2016.
it's
So
been a little while.
since then, I feel like it's even grown in popularity, and I think it's because it's been rerunning on Netflix and stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm getting recognized for Hallmark movies and that's about it right now,
I mean,
which is
there's worse
crazy.
things to be like. Weren't you on
Oh
that
no.
hemorrhoid commercial? Like, there's worse things
Yeah.
to be recognized for. I mean, Victoria.
Totally. I
Um,
wish they'd recognize me as the camp slut, damn it.
oh yeah,
But
that's well. I
apparently
mean,
I've aged out.
if you're the child camp slut, I mean, might be a weird thing to be recognized for. Um, so there was an online straw poll that was conducted by the production staff, and they said, like which of the main character Ted Mosby's girlfriends were fans' favorites, and you won, right? You won, like, and it wasn't really close. Like, it really wasn't close. I think the vote was 128 to 117 over Robin being the next most popular.
Right. See, I
So,
always thought she was going to be the mother anyway.
I mean,
But people always say to me, do you wish you'd been the mother? And I'm like, it would have been fucking great. It would have been awesome.
of course.
But I do think there is something to be said for this underdog thing, where if it had been me and there was an uproar and everyone was mad about it, that would have been awful. I would so prefer conversations like this for the next 30 years of my life than conversations with people being like, I never liked you as the mother. That would have been terrible. So I prefer this.
Yeah. No, I
Taking the
mean,
high road.
that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, I'm curious. As obviously you were behind the scenes and you were involved in the show. I mean, and this is something I talked to Carter with right here in this show, and also privately because I'm just that weird. But the final season, the way the show kind of wrapped it up, it was controversial to some fans, and I feel like no show or very few shows can really end a long run that everybody celebrates and loves. So, kind of, what camp were you in? Were you happy with how it was? Do you wish it was a little bit different? I mean, we can speak. Hey, I have Carter's permission. We can speak freely about the show, so it's totally fine.
This is going to be disappointing for you, but I loved it.
You loved it.
I thought it was
Okay.
romantic. I thought it was sad, poignant. I thought it was beautifully done. I was a fan. I was into it. It really was.
Obviously, coming from someone who does Hallmark, I mean, obviously, you just
See? You gotta go for the heartstrings.
No, I honestly, I'm in the middle because I really do think that it was well done and established, and but sometimes, but then you do have the like, oh, we've come this way just for her to, in one episode. Oh, it's just anyway.
What would you have wanted? You would have wanted him to fly to Germany and just pick me up from a bakery?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that. If anything, honestly, that's fine. I love the actress, was it Christina. Oh my god, I can never pronounce her last
Kristen
name.
Milioti.
Milioti, thank you.
She's wonderful.
Phenomenal actress. I think she did a great job as the mother. It was so sad to see her die in the last episode. You want his happy ending, and if I'm being honest, I don't like the backs. Ted has to go back to Robin. That's just me. I love Robin. I love Colby Smulders, but I just the backslide. That was another thing of the show. The backslide, like. I didn't like the backslide. That's just me personally.
I loved it because to me it felt like he was coming home.
Ugh.
I loved it.
Anyway,
into it.
but you know what? I liked you right up until this moment. I'm so sorry.
Fair, man. Fair. I get it. It only took 46 minutes.
So let me ask you this. One last question then for How I Met Your Mother. We saw, like you said, Victoria in Germany at the end of season 9. She's wearing Ted's locket, whatever. But how, if it's up to you, what's her ending? What's the ending story for Victoria? Where does she go after that moment? What's her? Does she have a happy ending or is it a tragic downfall? Like where's Victoria now?
I actually had this idea for like a spinoff called Victoria about an expat living in Germany. Like the opening of the show would be like me on stage singing singing Victoria, that song Victoria. She's up there like hanging out. She's like handing out cupcakes to the audience and like singing, and then she like steps off stage, like grabs a cigarette from someone and like walks over, and she's just still trying to find it. Like she's still, she was always such an idealist, always sort of this dreamer about fate. And I think I like the idea of Victoria 20 years later is like still holding on to fate. And
Mm.
like, her ovaries have dried up and she's tired and she's eaten a lot of cupcakes,
Mm.
like what is her life now? What happens if you uphold the ideals of a 24-year-old you
Mm.
for all that time? And ultimately, what's interesting is she would kind of turn into Ted a little bit, like perpetually dating, getting, trapped in things, but, from an expat perspective. So she's an American in Germany. Anyway, I always thought that would be fun. A little
I like it.
spin-off. But I would see it as like more of like a single camera half hour as opposed to like a multicam format
Sure.
with a laugh track.
Yeah, a little sitcom-y.
Yeah, because I think it might get a little dark with Victoria.
I think that would be. I think it'd be great to get a little dark with that character. I think that would
I
be
think
awesome.
shit goes down with her. I think she
I
gets
mean,
pretty
listen,
hardcore.
I spent many years in Europe, and how they get down over there is a whole different thing to what's
See?
happening here in the States. So I
See?
could dig
Yeah.
it. I could dig it. This conversation's not going
So you
anything like I
guys,
thought
let
it
me
would.
know. Let me know if anybody here would watch the Victoria spinoff.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We have here's a fan favorite
Victoria,
question.
shit gets real. Yeah.
Victoria After Dark. From Heath. From Heath, it's one of his favorite questions. He asks everybody, do dinosaurs have boobs?
No, dinosaurs are reptiles. So they're not mammals.
Mm.
Because, right?
As far as we know.
I'm pretty sure that reptiles can't be mammals.
Well, no. That part, yes. I'm just saying, millions of years ago, maybe reptiles did.
I mean, do they have a chest area? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I assume what he means by boobs is a mammary gland. Does everybody give the same answer?
You would be surprised. You would be very surprised at some of the random answers we get on this show. So, did I take the question too seriously? Not at all. That is a perfectly reasonable, responsible answer. We've heard.
Has anybody ever given that answer before?
I mean, you fall into the majority. They're reptiles.
It was a boring fucking answer, wasn't it? You can tell me.
I mean, it was safe. It was a safe answer.
You know what, Heath? Get a new question.
Yeah, he set you up for failure on that one. So
I bet Eddie answered right.
Oh, Eddie. I think that was why we went 2.5 hours long, because Eddie went on a rant. So I mean, another great show you were on, the Jim Gaffigan Show. So funny, so good. Like, that looked like a really fun show to be on, and I'm sure the candid answer is like, "Oh, it was fun, it was great, it was great." But did you guys really have as much fun as it looked, or was it work? I mean,
Well, I mean, it's always work. I always think it's funny when actors are like, gosh, we had some really hard times, because the amount of we could be bankers. The amount of pure joy in an acting job, it's pretty high. There's a lot of fun and joy in the life of an actor. So, but that being said, I had a 4-month-old baby. I'm sorry. I was pregnant when we shot the pilot, and then I had a 4-month-old baby on set with me every day for the first season, and then the second season I was pregnant. So I was a little bit in survival mode, which actually really worked for the character, because she had 5 kids.
You had
She
all
was
the
a stress
kids.
monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually it was a really good, safe time for me to not have to be auditioning and putting myself out there as much as just nursing, changing diapers, memorizing lines, just doing my job.
I'm wondering, do you think pre-first baby, do you approach that character differently after then having the toddler, having the baby right there? Do you approach that character differently?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the most method I've ever gone. But yeah, it was absolutely. I think it definitely informed a lot. You know, I mean, the thing is, like, women with children, it's just you're operating. There's 47 balls in the air all the time. The operating at such a high level. Especially this character was living in. We got to shoot it in Manhattan on location, all real locations. We were shooting all over we shot at the Statue of Liberty, and I mean, just literally all over Manhattan, outside, inside, in the winter, cold. And this character lived in a 5-story walk up with Jim and their 5 children in a 2-bedroom apartment. And she was a powerhouse, that character. And she was based on Jeannie Gaffigan, Jim's real life wife, who was a writer and executive producer and often director on the show. So I had the resource all the time, hey, what's this like? How do I do this? I was always like chopping carrots in the middle of scenes and, checking for lice and, folding and stuff like that. And Jeannie was right by my side, helping me all the time. I was really, really grateful for her expertise, not just as a mother, but also she's a brilliant writer. She writes with him all of his stand-up specials and all of his books. And he says that. He's like, in the beginning of each one of his books, he's like, hi, my wife wrote this book.
Hey, credit where credit's due.
Exactly.
When your children are older, will you tell them that you only had them just so you could rehearse for this role? Like, is that like you guys are just a
I think I
byproduct? I
should
was
tell them
auditioning.
now. Yeah, I think I should tell them now because like it always uses a little dose of humility.
There you
But
go.
I will say so when I had that 4-month-old baby, he became backup baby. We had to open up a Coogan account and everything because he was always there. And if one of the other babies, wouldn't stop crying or something, they always had to be a backup baby. So he
Sure.
never was actually on camera, but he got paid sometimes, and that money is still in an account.
That's
Nailed
awesome.
it.
There you go. That's parenting done right. There you go.
Yeah.
Get him addicted. So I mean, again, running low on time, but you've acted with some, I mean, a variety, huge names. You've worked with Kate Hudson and John Krasinski and Paul Rudd, Meg Ryan, just to name a few. Who has been your absolute favorite person to work with?
Great question. Well, I did do 2 movies with my sister, Kimberly Williams Paisley. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's my idol.
Kind of a big deal.
I did get to do 2 movies with her, which was some of the most fun I've ever had. We did a couple of Hallmark movies last year together, which was so fun.
Sister swap, good stuff.
Sister swap. It was so good. I mean, yeah, I've had such a lucky, I've had such a lucky time. I mean, John Krasinski was amazing getting to improv. We got to improv a bunch of those scenes and he's brilliant and he makes everything better. I did this movie with Tom Cavanaugh in the early 2000s called Snow. It was my first Christmas movie. And at the time I had just come off of this sitcom on NBC and I was really freaked out about the business and I felt a lot of pressure. I was like 22, I was so stressed. I just wasn't having fun. And I got this movie and my agent said, it's 3 weeks. You got to go do it. So I said yes. And I didn't know Tom Cavanaugh. Actually, I knew him a little bit because I'd watched Ed, but getting to watch him, he's such a seasoned professional, but not only that, he's very relaxed and he finds joy everywhere. He has this crazy ability to find humor and joy and bits, and heart, where it isn't in the script. And he created this kind of innate curiosity in me when it comes to material for finding more in the material. And doing that movie with him, and then we ended up doing a sequel. And then he became my friend, and the guy gives great advice. He is, he's a family man. He's like an Irish Catholic guy. His wife is one of my good friends, and his perspective on storytelling really has really changed my own, and truly really informs how I am as a director right now. That's really what I've been working on a lot.
Mhm.
this past year, and he really opened up the world for me. He really did. By the way, I don't think I've told him that. I gotta tell him.
You have now.
Yeah, he really did kind of change my life a little bit. So that was awesome. But then also, there's people, and there's also that a couple years ago I started doing these Hallmark movies, and at first I just sort of I did them because it was a job. I'm a
Sure.
journeyman actress. I don't say no, really. I love to work. I love to be creative. And at first there were these sort of like sweet saccharine stories. And then there was a big changeover at Hallmark a couple of
Mhm.
years ago. And what they're doing now is some of the most it's actually reminds me a lot of what Tom Cavanaugh taught me about storytelling. They have opened up the door, and I don't know if you've seen any Hallmark movies in the last 6 months or so, but there's a shift, right?
Big
So
difference.
they've empowered the talent now. A lot of us are writing our own material, directing our own material, producing our own material, and it's from our heart. So the stories are personal to us. I got to do like a straight up rom-com this past May called Two Tickets to Paradise that they just let me go off the rails with my comedy, which I honestly hadn't been encouraged to do since I did this Warner Brothers movie called Something Borrowed. And then, I'm writing a movie for them right now that is a story purely from my heart. And they're love stories, but there's humor for the first time in a real way. There's this movie called Three Wise Men and a Baby this year. The Christmas Sitter. There's a lot of representation, and I'm really, really proud. It's the best partnership I've ever had as an employed creative. And I'm so into this network. It's
That's
really cool what they're
that's
doing.
it's like you have my script because my next question was, man, you've done so much with Hallmark, and there's been such a big shift, and they're doing things differently. Like, what's the key to success? You've answered it. You answered
Sorry.
it. You beat me to it.
I Eddie McClintocked it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so in the place, so we know, who's someone that you're dying to work with. If you could right now, blank check, there's this actor or duo or anybody, who would you want to work with? Who you dying to share a scene with?
Hmm. Oh, this is such a tough question.
You can just start
I'm a,
rambling
I'm
off
a,
names too. It's just look at this guy,
okay.
that guy, this guy.
I'm a really big fan of, people who have who generate their own material, like
Mm,
Ava DuVernay is a director, but she's somebody that I would kill to work with in some capacity. She's taught me so much just from me sort of obsessing about her. And I think she's really brilliant. I would love, love, love to work with her. There's a lot of really exciting stuff happening in TV. I mean, it's a bananas time in television right now. I'm just like everybody else, massive fan of White Lotus.
mm.
Of course, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a hero. I think I've seen both seasons of Fleabag like 5 times, and that's saying a lot because I have 2 tiny children,
Sure.
um, and a full-time job. Um, it's an exciting time right now. I think rules are being broken all over my industry. Um, they used to make a pilot for a TV show, and then they'd decide if the pilot was going to get picked up. That doesn't happen anymore.
Mm.
Now, like a writer or a director sells a network on an idea, and then they order it to series
You just run with it.
and let them go. It's amazing.
I think with the advent of all the streaming services, there's such a need for content that it's a buyer's market, right? Like we need to stock the shelves with things. So bring it all on, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, it's also really hard for me. I mean, I'm trying to sell a couple different things right now and everyone's passing. I mean, it's still a cruel industry. My husband just had like a big show that was like totally picked up and all ready to go, and they'd ordered 3 more scripts, and then they just pulled the plug, because there's like a changeover. So it's also like we're also kind of flailing and terrified, just like normal. But that's why it's cool working with Hallmark, because it's job security, which I've never had before, but B, they really want me to make stories from my heart. They really do.
Yeah.
And with my comedy, which I've never had before.
That's awesome.
So that's cool.
I don't want to hold you any longer than we've already
Okay.
have. And
What time is it?
honestly,
Oh, yeah.
there's so much more. I want to talk about your directing, your writing is so good. I've read some of your things. Truly
Thanks.
inspiring.
Thanks.
We're gonna have to have you back another time
Okay.
down the
I'll come back.
road.
But
Part
wait,
2.
you have to ask me what I have coming out soon.
That was you gotta stop reading ahead of my script. You gotta stop it. Let the people know, what do you have coming up? What can they see?
Okay.
I know Nashville Country Christmas is coming. I'm gonna be watching.
How did you know about that?
I know things. I know things.
Okay, so I did. I
Please.
directed Nashville Country Christmas, which is starring Tanya Tucker. Amazing, awesome little movie. I don't know if there are any Tanya Tucker fans out there. She is incredible, and I directed the movie. I'm super proud of it. Anna Ortiz and Keith Carradine are also in the movie. And then I also acted in a movie that is called 5 More Minutes for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It airs December 17th. It is a sequel to last year's 5 More Minutes starring Nikki DeLoach. It is not a comedy. I mean, it's me, so I always get a little goofy, but it was really cool because these are the 2 movies I did for Hallmark this year. Was 2 Tickets to Paradise, which was like kind of a broad comedy, and then this 5 More Minutes movie, which is like a pretty intense Christmas drama. So you're going to see me getting a little emotional. It's some really good storytelling. It gives you all the Christmas feels. I think it's the last Christmas movie of the year, December 17th. So please, please, please check it out. Movies and Mysteries. I would love the support, and I'd love to hear what you think. I had a great time shooting it.
Absolutely. I will be tuning in. I will be setting the DVR. We'll be watching. Me and the wife. We're gonna be we're rooting for you. Go Victoria.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
But yeah, thank you so much for doing this. This was absolute best. Everybody sending so much love to you in the chats.
Aw.
I wasn't gonna stop the show every 5 minutes to do that, but
Sure. Well, also, if you guys are fans, join me on Instagram. I'm at Ashley Williams and Company. I try to post a lot. I have like a really colorful, hilarious life, and we have fun. So come check me out there.
Once again, jumping ahead, I was going to say, where can people follow
shoot.
you on social
I'm
media?
so sorry.
But it's fine. It's totally fine.
I told you I was type A.
Do you want to run the show? Do you want to run the show? Like
Honestly,
you can.
I think I would nail it.
They would prefer you over me. Absolutely.
This is like what I did when I was like, I would be open to being the mother if they're interested. Fine, CJ, I will host.
This has been absolute blast. People, we will share your social medias. We'll let the people know where this has been an absolutely amazing. We have to have you for a part 2 so we can dive into the directing and the writing and all that, and promote any other stuff you have coming up, because I know you're going to be very, very busy over the next couple of years. I will give you the last 5 seconds to say goodbye to our audience, and then we'll toss it to a break.
Oh, geez, 5 seconds. I love you
10.
guys.
I'll give you
Thanks for
10.
having me. I'm so happy to be here. And I can't wait to come back. I'll come back.
Awesome. Absolutely. Guys, stay tuned. I'm going to go say goodbye to our guest, and we'll be right back. We'll be back. Damn, it's one of the, we'll be right back.
I just called you CJ, so we're fine.
We're good. We're delirious with laughter and fun. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Shuts.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show's going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
After all I've done, after all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I bet you cry and run away. 'Cause with all the lies I keep, made you believe this was me. The truth is I am not at all who I preach myself to be. And I deserve to be alone. And I'm alone here with me. And after all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And if I told you everything, I wonder if you would believe that with all the ways you've tried, I couldn't change my selfish needs. And with endless love from you, I took for granted everything. And I deserve to be alone here with me. After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And I believe I could close my eyes and make it go away in dreams. And honestly, I could die to take it all away from me. After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? And after all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've done, do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. That was so much fun. Oh, man. Ashley Williams, everybody. What a phenomenal, fun, cheerful, optimistic, uplifting person. I mean, if you weren't like energized by that, I don't know. You gotta look in the mirror because man, I'm like shaking with how awesome that was. Like I said, I have no bones about it. Huge fan of hers. Huge fan of hers, of her work. And she told me on the side, she's like, "Tell your wife I said hi." And I'm like, I will definitely do that. I will absolutely do that. All right. Well, folks, we've reached the end of a wonderful night. We had a special guest co-host in Nemo joining us in the first half. And then, of course, the amazingly wonderful Ashley Williams joining us for in-depth interview. It always fills my heart with so much glee when they say something like, no one's ever asked me that. Or good question. Like, oh, that's just like hits me right right dead center. But anyway, thank you all guys for tuning in, hanging out, chilling with us, asking your great questions. As always, we have a lot in store for you. A lot in store for you as far as the station comes. WTF Nation Radio is about to become, WTF Nation Radio 2.0. We're about to go next level. We're about to go Super Saiyan in this bitch. All right. For those of my anime friends, we're about to really go next level. We've got new shows coming. We've got the Smoke Pit on Wednesdays coming. We've got the Sports Bar coming Sundays. So lots to is it Sundays or Saturdays? One of those days, one of the weekend days. So much coming. Great personalities coming on board. Radar will be leaving us to start his show, The Smoke Pit. Very excited for him because I know his show is going to be awesome. And as far as the co-host here on Pop Culture Warrior, we're gonna be trying something new, something interesting. We're gonna have like a rotating cadre of co-hosts. So it might be exciting to see like, who's gonna be the co-host this week. And we'll, got some exciting new people coming on board, and I'm excited. We'll see how it works out. As always, if you've been watching this show long enough, I am always going to push the envelope. I am always going to try something new. I'm always probably going to break something. Something's not going to work at some point. That's just how I do things here. Always experimenting, always pushing the envelope. That being said, next week will be our final show of the 2022 year. You're not going to want to miss it. We're doing giveaways. I'm in the holiday spirit. I'm doing multiple giveaways. I have boxes of stuff that I need to send out. I don't have space anymore. Literally all those drawers are filled, and then all the closets over there are filled, and the storage room is filled. So we're going to do a bunch of giveaways for the holiday season. If you're a Patreon member, I'm also going to be doing Patreon-only giveaways as well. So you can win here on the show, and then you can win offline in the Patreon's giveaway too. Patreon.com/popculturewarrior. That being said, anything else? Oh, and we have a guest. We have a guest next week. Incredible actor. Been in a bunch of stuff. Named Chad Lindbergh. He probably most recognized, I would imagine, as I forgot his character's name. Fast and the Furious, the original Fast and the Furious. He was the in fact, in the Fast and the Furious franchise, he's the one character who has stayed dead, other than I think Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot didn't come back to life. Anyway, in the first movie, he was the little brother character that got killed, that got gunned down in the driveway of the house and sets the whole thing off in motion. But great dude. Really looking forward to chatting with him next week, and that will bring a close to the 2022 year. And then we'll be back with you doing more shows. I think January 3rd, it'll be the first show of 2023. Ringing in the new year with some new stuff. And next year is going to be crazy awesome. And yes, Angry Elf, I see you available to co-host. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's a Patreon thing. Maybe I'll start pulling in people off the Patreon to co-host. Like that'll be just kind of a nice, I don't know, perk of being at a certain level of the Patreon. You can come on and co-host for an episode. I don't know. Something. We'll figure it out. But anyway, guys, as always, WTF Nation Radio is bringing you all the fun content. Monday is the Monday edition. They're talking news. They're talking politics. They're talking world events. Tuesdays here on Pop Culture Warrior. You know the deal. Wednesdays coming soon will be, and by soon, I mean literally the start of 2023. It'll be the Smoke Pit. I think he's going to feel it out. I don't think there's a set what he's going to do. He's just going to kind of feel it out and play it by ear. And I think that's the exciting part, is you never know what you're going to get. Kind of like the E4 Mafia. You really never know what you're going to get. Thursdays is Sergeant's Time. You know what Sergeant's Time is. It's where all the big army talk, all the military talk coming at you from the perspective of the NCOs. Friday brings Friday Night Freedom. I think they have a guest this week. I should have checked the calendar earlier, but I don't have a co-host, so that's fine. And then once again, starting in 2023, first week of 2023, we will have the Sports Bar, tentatively named the Sports Bar. We'll see. Maybe it's be named something else. I don't know. But they're going to be doing all sporting talking. So any sports you're into, any questions you have, any people, and interviews with who knows what kind of sports personas will be joining. There's some surprises in store. But with that, we've reached the end of another amazing episode of Pop Culture Warrior. This has been CQ. Thank my co-host for the day, Nemo, my guest for the day, the amazing Ashley Williams. And next week we're gonna end off 2022 with a bang. So y'all stay tuned, and thank you for hanging out with us. See you guys next week. Shouts.
Doc! Oh, no! We're too late! We missed it! Oh, jeez, this is heavy. Ah, wait a minute. Doc, I got a time machine. I'm just gonna punch in the coordinates. Pop Culture Warrior, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WTF Nation Radio. Now crank this bad boy up to 88 miles per hour.